Hi and welcome. I'm Caroline Best, Tao of Horsemanship. Welcome to our blog, Everything Horses and More. This series I'm going to be talking about, it's a part 2, pre-purchase exam, part 2. Part 1 is already up there. It's pretty old, from 2014. So this one is pre-purchase exam, part 2, buying the right horse. How do you find the right horse? And we're going to have more sequels to this, a number 3 and a 4 part, because it's huge. We're going to get into examining and looking at other horses and training your eye as to what you are personally looking for when you go to buy a horse, and breaking it down to not just conformational questions, but even if the horse doesn't look as good as another horse, it doesn't necessarily mean that that horse isn't going to be 100% what you need. So we're not done, but today we're going to deal with part 2. And I need my glasses. Sorry about that. My readers. So what does it mean to you buying the right horse? Ask yourself those questions first. In part 1 of this blog series, I show you one of my schoolmasters, my white quarter horse mare Sundance, and I show you what I'm always measuring horses up to. That's my standard. And I'm hoping to train your eye and give you a lot of information as far as asking the right questions when you go to test a horse, meaning you either bring your trainer or you go to ride or you watch the owner or the trainer that's selling the horse, you watch them ride the sale horse or work with the sale horse. So I have high standards, and I want you guys, you do what you want to do, obviously, do what you need to do, buy the horse that feels right to you. And I want to give you as much information as possible to educate you so that you look for more safety and you look for a horse that's going to be healthier physically and emotionally. So that was in part 1. Part 2, we're just going to get into, it's going to be a shorter video with more discussion, as I'm doing right now, in helping you identify, making a checklist, a pros and cons list. What do you want in a horse? What are you looking for? Do you need a pedigree, bloodlines? Do you need a certain level of athleticism? Of course, we all know how important temperament is. What kind of temperament do you want, or are you looking for that meets your needs, your personal needs? Do you want to just do more liberty and play and groundwork with an occasional ride? What does your ride look like? Do you want to do just trail riding, or do you want to partake in some instruction and arena work, maybe an obstacle trail challenge course? All of these things require some level of education in your horse. And for me, my audience, the people that come to me, my students all over the world, whether they can meet with me personally or if they are an online course student and we do long distance coaching sessions together, you guys are all kind of grouped the same as far as my audience who likes my work. You're all looking for the relationship and ride of your dreams. You don't necessarily show. And part of the ride is being able to just jump on your horse, feel like you have a mutual connection and understanding and desire to be with each other. And when you jump on your horse, you can just go off and ride and be together and feel safe. Well, there's more to that riding and feeling safe than you think. And that's what's happening to a lot of my students who are older coming back to horses. My audience is an older group of women, predominantly women, anywhere from their late 30s on up. And they either have the money and or the time or both, obviously, to come back to horses. They want to do it differently, or they've had horses possibly their whole life and they find my method and they want more. They're searching for more now, more spirituality, more intimacy, more safety. As we get older, we get wiser and we realize our limitations and how precious life is, our mortality also. So when you guys see me ride without a helmet, it's never to brag or show off. It's just to show you that you can have a safe ride without a bit, without a big saddle to hang on to, and without a helmet. And that's a whole nother blog series that I have been developing and sharing with you all, creating that safe ride. But I want you just to think about these things, because sometimes my audience, my older audience of women, they get seduced into a beautiful horse, how the horse looks and moves, and the magic and the excitement. It's such an emotional purchase, like buying a house or a car. Horses are so emotionally connected to us, and you get excited about it, and you forget to step back and start doing your checklist. What's your checklist for this horse? What are you looking for? And what are you willing to compromise a little bit if you don't meet that 100% checklist of yours? So I want you guys to wrap your minds around that. Be honest, take your time, do some research, ask questions. So there's 4 areas that most people, I think, can agree on when you're searching for a horse. And the first one is I think we all have an understanding of what temperament means. You know, does a temperament fit us? Do we want a more laid back horse, a more chill horse? Do we want a horse with a little more fire, a little more spirit? Do we want something in between? And that would be the second, your spirit level. The third would be athleticism. What do you want to do with this horse? Do you want to do a little bit of fox hunting, a little bit of training level dressage or level 1 dressage? What are you looking for? And then the fourth is, how much education or training does your horse have? And just because someone can get on and ride the horse and pull them all over the place with a bit in their mouth doesn't mean that the horse has a good foundation at all or a real level of education. Most horses, and I'm going to break this down price-wise to help you guys. Most horses, anyone can get on, kick to go, and pull, and pull, and pull. I can't emphasize that enough. That does not mean your horse is well trained. And just because a horse can walk, trot, and canter with a rider does not mean your horse is well trained. You have to start training your eye, educating yourself, looking at professional trainers like myself, people that you admire, their method, training your eye like I do with Sundance in the part 1. What should it look like? You might not want a Sundance, but you certainly don't want the extreme opposite of Sundance. So training your eye on, and also doing research and educating yourself as to what does training mean for people, to different people. What does a well-trained horse look like? A lot of my audience, being older in life, women, they end up, and coming back into horses in their 40s and 50s, they end up purchasing a horse that's already done the show circuit or has shown, or they purchase a horse that's been out west working cattle, and they feel that, wow, this horse has had a lot of experience. They've been out. I want a trail horse now. I'm not necessarily interested in showing, but this horse has been there and done that. And I see a lot of people buying horses based upon that criteria and getting themselves into a lot of trouble. Even if the horse is 5 years old, which is very young, and this horse was a national show horse, like a national reining horse, there's something wrong there. This horse is definitely broken down physically and mentally, you guys. Had a huge demographic group when I was in Maryland. It just must have been the timing of everything. I probably had at least a handful of women older in their 50s, and they didn't know each other. It just was an interesting timing, and they had all been seduced into buying these horses from out west that were used to work the cattle ranches. And of course, they're in Maryland. These horses are out in Montana. as an example, and they never get to ride them. They just see videos of them, of the cowboys riding them on a loose rein, walk, trot, and canter. Horse can open up a gate. It's been around cows, so they figure, wow, this has got to be the perfect horse for me. All I want to do is trail ride, maybe do a couple of clinics, learn a little bit of someone's method. And the horse within 30 to 60 days becomes rogue almost. So there's definitely been some drugging. They're not only rogue and crazy, many of them, haha, look who's here. Oh, the camera hog. Hello, Lay. Come here, honey. Many of those horses end up lame, having stifle issues. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. Come. Yep, stifle issues. Some of them have navicular issues. And it's like, are you kidding me? I'm seeing these horses anywhere from the age of 7, that's a playful, happy bite, 7 to 10. And they're broken down emotionally and physically. And my clients are like, what the heck? You know, I had a horse growing up. I gave up horses for my family and my career. Now I'm able to have a horse and enjoy them. What did I buy? And so the point I'm trying to make is, just because a horse has a lot of experience doesn't mean that it's good experience. We're not looking at quantity here, we're measuring quality. And if you're purchasing or looking at a young horse under the age of 9, you really, and you don't know its background, maybe you went to an auction or a sale barn, you've got to be really careful, because most of the time they drug these horses. And especially the sale barns, these horses have been there for a period of time because they're trying to sell them. So they're schooling them or retraining them or putting rides on them or doing whatever they're doing to get these horses ready for sale. But there's a reason why it's called a sale barn, and there's a reason why these horses go to auction, because nobody else wants them. There's 99% of the time something's wrong with these horses. It doesn't mean that these horses can't be fixed through good and proper, correct training, but that's a mental condition, not a physical. We have to also look at the physical. Can these horses be fixed if they're broken down, if they've got lameness? And that's something we're going to look at in the next series of the pre-purchase exam. We'll start looking at some horses in their conformation and the way they travel. It's just not in part 2 here. So in my experience, most new horse owners are seduced into buying horses for 2 reasons: the way they look and the price. And I'm here to educate you. I'm going to say that more than 75% of the time, you get what you pay for. More than 75% of the time, you get what you pay for. In the horse industry, there are a lot of liars, a lot of cheaters, a lot of fakes, a lot of people that say they know a lot and they don't. And that's predominantly across the board. I'm sad to say that, but it's true. So I want you guys to go in not tainted, but not naive. That most people are going to lie to you. They're going to try to scam you, cheat you. People don't realize how fragile horses are emotionally and physically. So they break them down through harsh measures of training, and they break them down physically by moving them incorrectly. And this is a really important point. So naturally, horses are not designed to be running every day, jumping every day. They're not designed physically to have a lot of impact on their bodies. Can horses do amazing athletic maneuvers? Naturally, yes, they can, but they only do those maneuvers when they are in a self-preservation mode, like fight or flight. Other than that, horses by nature are designed to be lazy and calm. I study wild horses, I've worked with wild horses. Until you have, this will blow your mind. Wild horses are calm, cool, and collected, totally. And they have to conserve their energy so they can travel up to 20 miles a day for food and water. The only time a wild horse is gonna run or jump or do leaps and airs is to avoid the predator, and or if you have stallions, they naturally have testosterone, which makes them aggressive by nature. So they're gonna fight. So look forward to any questions in the open forum and comments, and stay tuned for at least part 3.